Here is what I think about safe spaces. They suck. I feel as though the people who require safe spaces to become functional individuals in our society are the people whose parents never ever told them the truth about how badly they were doing or the truth about how the world really is. They're the kind of people that would be given a trophy just for participating instead of for putting their best foot forward and actually earning their win. They're the cavemen that died off a long time ago, and their bloodline ended with the one guy that decided that it was too safe to wander outside. So let's just eat the fungus from inside the cave and starve to death. They were so preoccupied by staying safe that they never prepared themselves for when real danger would come and blast them in the ass. While the initial idea of a safe space is a benevolent one, the need to make everyone feel safe to voice their opinions, the truth of the matter is that the world, the real world, is not some AA meeting. You are going to be judged by your decisions, by your actions, and by what you say. You are going to reap the benefits or the consequences of how much work you put into living or what achievements you have. Living in a world where you do next to nothing and you expect other people that work their asses off to pay for you or take care of your problems is called being a parasite and useless. These types of people remind me of when I was in school. Being the nerd and the outcast, I worked very hard. I didn't depend on friends to help me with anything, nor did I depend on my parents. I studied hard. I worked hard to become top of my class. As a result, some naysayers wanted to cheat off of me after skipping school for a while, even after I offered to help tutor them or give them my notes that I worked tirelessly into making entertaining so my notes would be fun like a manga. And after having wasted all of that time putting aside my time, my valuable time that I wanted to do other stuff to help these people study and prepare for something that they should have prepared for on their own, they have the nerve to still want to cheat off of my test, and then when I say no, they get angry at me and want to beat me up. My answer was at that point, do what the fuck you want to do, but you're not cheating off of me. Because then that would have meant that I have wasted my time in trying to help you prepare for this. What was the point of you asking me for help? Oh, but I made a safe space of my own, because while I didn't have physical safe space and somebody thought that I owed them a cheat off of my paper, I decided to do the one thing that I believed was the smartest and most fun thing to ever do while I was in school. My teacher, knowing that I was an honor student, would walk around the classroom inspecting our answers and our tests to see how everyone was doing, and also to make sure no one was cheating. Sorry, but I'm not sacrificing my academic success and my hard work and time spent not socializing with people so that you can get a free pass. Fuck you. As I confidently filled out the 100 questions questionnaire, my teacher walked around and looked at my paper and then looked at me with this just disconcerting and very concerned look. His star pupil, top of her class, was entering every answer wrong. Every multiple choice question, every essay type question, I answered with the total wrong answer. That's right. Out of all 100 questions on that final, I answered all of them wrong on purpose because the bitch next to me decided that she was gonna cheat off of me. We're not friends. She doesn't know me. As a matter of fact, she's one of the people who used to make fun of me, and I was just gonna let her cheat off of my test. So when she's like, I'm gonna cheat off of you, I'm like, all right, sure, why not? So that the teacher didn't have a conniption, I looked at him and I winked and I nodded my head in her direction, and all he did was, oh, and then he just kept walking and smiling to himself because he knew just as well as I do that this bitch is gonna deserve every bit of karma that she got. I finished pretty quickly because I already knew every single answer on that test. Like I said, I studied my ass off till it was blue. She asked me if I was done. I'm like, uh-huh. She's like, yes. So she went to put her test paper up there and she went to go leave early because she asked me why I wasn't leaving. I'm like, I just like to sit and relax. I'm in no hurry to go home, which was the truth. I really didn't want to go home at the time. And after she was done, I erased every single one of the wrong answers and filled in the right answers. I erased the essay answers and put in the right answers to the questions, and I got 105, which is the bonus thing on the back. The point of the matter is, this person was so entitled that she thought she could skirt through life and everyone should just give everything to her and hand everything to her. Well, I hope me fucking her over gave her a taste of the real world. Don't try to mooch off of other people's hard work. Didn't you read the story of the grasshopper and the ant? You see, there's a level of kindness that you show to someone who is down on their luck, and then there's a level of karma that they deserve when knowing what was going to happen, when having had time to prepare, adequate time to prepare, like everybody else, when given almost equal opportunity as everyone else, you decided to just not do it because you wanted to party and do whatever you wanted to do, and you would have earned every ounce of that karma. And oh, it delights me to this day, which is why I keep telling this story, because it's wonderful. And if any one of you are having problems with someone cheating off of you, do the same. Trust me, it takes less time to enter in all the wrong answers than it does to fill out the actual test with the right answers. The point being is that my family did not raise me up in a safe space. Oh my God, darling, your feelings should never be hurt because you're a perfect little princess and nothing bad should ever happen to you. No, that never happened to me. I learned a lot of things that I probably should not have learned when I was younger. I don't get the concept of what a safe space is because of certain things that happened to me during my childhood. You know what? As strange as it may be to someone else who was a victim of what happened, to hear me say that, I'm glad that it happened because all the unfortunate things that happened to me never stopped me from being positive and never made me into a victim. Okay, I was a victim, but I didn't remain a victim. I chose not to be a victim. I know what I wanted in life and I worked my ass off to get there. My parents loved me to the moon and back, but they didn't have the world to give me. We didn't grow up rich. As a matter of fact, as lovely as my parents are, they made a lot of bad choices that landed them in situations that they probably would not have had they had not been ignorant. I learned from their mistakes and I said, that's something I'm not gonna do, but this person over here that is successful, I wanna be like that person. What did they do? Let me work my ass off. I'm not gonna go to that person and be like, hey, can you just help me out? No, the world doesn't work that way. And so many people are unsuccessful because people are more concerned about keeping their feelings safe than actually preparing them for the real world. I'm telling you, if something happened to our planet and we went back to Stone Ages, a lot of those people would die off. And I know it sounds really awful and mean, but that would be nature's way of course correcting itself. I know it sounds freaking horrible. I'm not trying to be mean. That's actually what happens. What do you think is going to happen when you have a deer that doesn't know how to run when it sees a wolf? When the wolf comes up to it and the deer's like, oh, he's gonna respect my feelings. The deer is all nice and shy and his parents never taught them to be afraid, to know what to look out for, to learn how to run when you have an injury. That little deer is going to see that wolf and it's gonna walk up to that wolf or not run and the wolf is going to break its freaking little neck. It is such an injustice for parents who don't teach their kids how to survive, who don't teach their kids what the real world is like. And it just really attests to the kind of parents that those are because clearly those people grew up with silver spoons. Because if they didn't and they're the kind of people that had to work their ass off to get where they are and they understood why you need to work hard, they would teach their kids the same. The reason why I am the way I am is because my feelings were never spared. I'm naturally a sensitive person, but I'm also very tough. Growing up in Brooklyn and going to a school that I really didn't have to go to school considering how good my grades were, but because all my friends were there, growing up around gangs, growing up around an environment that if you smile for some reason, that is an invitation for people to come after you, I learned how to be tough. I learned how to stay away from certain people. I learned what not to do and the consequences of certain things that I would do. I learned how to interact with different people with different perceptions and personalities. I learned how to get along with everyone. Really strange too, because a lot of my friends, I became somewhat of a popular person because I got along with everyone. The gang members, the foreign exchange students, the nerds, the goths, the jocks. Part of it was because I was a jock and a nerd as well. But the other part of it was that I knew how to be sensitive and I also knew how to be scalding. I knew how to balance those two things. I learned how to speak up when I didn't like something and speak up for those who couldn't speak up for themselves. I was a mediator in a lot of fights because you had a friend over here who was really upset with the friend over here and they wanted to break glass bottles over each other's heads and they came to me to solve it because I could see both sides. I helped people see each other's perspective and while they didn't have to come to an agreement, they could learn to get along despite their disagreement. And I wish the world was more like that. I think we're in a case right now where people have everything being done for them to the point where they don't have to do anything for themselves and they're just so idle that they have to find something to complain about. For some reason, us humans do our best when we're in a hostile environment. Being natural prey animals who initially ate plants and fruits and stuff, it's like we need something to be up our ass so we can constantly be alert and be productive. But our forefathers, the very ones that ironically people harshly criticize, tried to make this world a better place for the future. And in so doing, they have ruined us because they did not leave it as harsh as it should have been for us to learn the lessons that they learned. So very sad. I know there's a time and place for safe spaces. I'm not gonna knock all safe spaces. If you go to an AA meeting or you've gone through a lot of shit, I understand that there is a place where you just need to say what you need to say. For those people out there who are having a problem with surviving or living on this earth and they're like, okay, I can't take it anymore, I'm probably not the kind of person when they go to a meeting to try and talk to someone someone to be like, it's your fault that you ended up in that situation, right? I get it. However, for the general populace, for the preparation of the real world, we shouldn't be so concerned about sparing people's feelings. Instead, we should be teaching people to have a thicker skin. If I say a word or the name of someone and it causes you to go into a freaking grand mal seizure, there is something seriously wrong with your psychological development. Honestly, if that is the case, there is a lot of land you can go live out in the desert if you can't function around other human beings. But it is unfair to ask every other human being to walk on eggshells around you just to make you comfortable. It's selfish, it's asinine, and it's a fantastical notion that is the very antithesis of reality. The world is not a safe space. Space itself isn't safe. We shouldn't get comfortable in safe spaces. We should equip ourselves and our children to learn to live just in case there aren't any, or if those safe spaces get crushed. Because no matter how safe your space, you can have all the nicest people you think in that safe space, you're still gonna have arguments because all of us are individuals and we're going to disagree at some point in time, and it's not gonna take very long to do so. Over and out.